to round 2 of going through the 21 Pilots album Clancy, as we look at lyrics, visuals, and all the things that go into making the music unique and a little bit different. If you missed part 1, just check out our podcast channel, YouTube, etc., and you can find some more there. But starting off this round with the track Midwest Indigo, which is a melancholy love letter to Ohio, which, you know, I feel like all songs to Ohio are kind of melancholy or emo in the first place. But this one specifically deals with the fact of the illusion and the kind of visual of the cold and sadness that kind of comes with the Midwest also being a appropriate metaphor for just the lack of clarity and kind of joy in life with things. The video starts out with Tyler and Josh on a frozen lake. And let me just go ahead and say this because I think it's the thing that I would say. It's like trying to not talk about kicking Aragorn's helmet. They filmed this video on the ice and it was cracking the entire day that they were filming it. And then the next day, the whole thing melted. So this was very much a Batman Begins situation of the ice was very temporary. The video also starts out with them showing a guitar pick with a cartoon version of Josh's dog on it. So the line, "You make me sad and second guess myself." I feel like we all have places and seasons in our life related to home that make us automatically a little sadder and a little less confident. And I feel like that really hits that thought there. Also, can't legitimately fathom how cold it was to actually film this video. The line, "Scrape the frosted windshield like we're barely scraping by." I feel that in my soul. And also the line, "Concentrate on the little gap in the ice that seems to be as wide as our chances." And just that discouraging feeling of things are weighing on you and they're not going to be okay. I feel that in my soul. The visuals with Josh and the, gator pulling up with the dog and just driving down the street gives you a fun vibe of their camaraderie, but also a solid look at what it is like, in the heart of the coldness that they're talking about. Then in the later verse where it says, "It's a different blue, it's deeper than it's been. I'll be pulling into the parking lot before the heat kicks in." Just of the reality of sometimes even in the same scenarios, stuff just gets colder, it just gets harder. And that before things can get better, it might be over. And while that's a discouraging thought, it's still pressing forward. There's a cute little segment of Tyler's wife on a bench. I also believe that's with Josh's brother. And it was supposed to be Josh's wife, but she got held up by something. Then you start off with the video of Tyler ice skating and filming. First of all, I feel like that's pretty dangerous. If you are a main event musician that your band only has 2 people in it and you tour around the country constantly and you're putting out an album and you're like, "Hey, let's go ice skating and filming." I feel like, that's a great way to end up with something broken. And I'm like, "Sir, that's rather dangerous." But, whatever. It's his life. But the shots of him actually zooming around with the camera, filming, it's actually really cool visually. The line, "I want love and sunny days. I'm a bit too old to run away." I just feeling that it comes to a point where you're like, I've been too far. I've done too much. I'm too tired to try and start over. And I just need things to be a little bit easier. Reminds me of the Reliant K lyric of "Life, could you be a little softer to me?" Then we also have the shot of Tyler absolutely wiping out on the ice while playing bass and singing. And again, funny. But just him writhing around on the ice playing. I'm a big hater of cold. Maybe it's my Latino blood, I don't know, but I am not a fan of not being warm. So I appreciate their sacrifice to make this video, but that's a hard pass on my part. This isn't like my favorite song on the album in any way, shape, or form, but it isn't bad, and I enjoy listening to it. Up next, we have Routines in the Night, which for me has a strong vibe connection back to Fairly Local in the video in terms of the house, the motion, the lighting. I feel like it has a strong connection to Fairly Local. But the whole idea of it being the battle of having what goes on in your mind, late nights of not being able to sleep. Most of everything I write, do, record, and everything else is after everybody else is asleep because my mind doesn't shut off. But walk the layouts, routines in the night, some doors have day out, spray painted in white. Um, I just think this is very Tyler. It's very inside your head stuff, but this might be like my third favorite track on the album. As you go through the line of, I'm testing the limits of what a mind can do. I'm keeping my eyelids up no matter what. So beautiful, the space between a painful reminder and a terrible dream. I've been here before and I've got time. I'll give you the tour, show you why. And for a lot of people, I don't know, for me, it's the fact that you don't shut down when it gets late at night. And, you know, we heard this on the lyrics of Saturday when his wife's ready to go to bed and he wants to watch Friends, but he's still working on a song, etc. It's that thing of not shutting down. I heard a therapist once refer to this as the concept of cave time, that if you are a predominant not necessarily male, but if you are a dominant mindset, that you need about 2 hours after everybody else in your house is asleep so that you can recharge, so that you can focus, because you don't know how to be at peace when people depend on you during the times that they're awake. And so it's not until everybody else is asleep that you can actually rest and deal with what's on in your own heart and mind. And so I think the song really kind of flushes out that vibe pretty well. The different hallways and the red lighting keep throwing me back to Fairly Local. I know I've said that a million times. They also make lots of jokes in like the behind the information of this about how many different awkward places they put Josh and his drums, which is fun. But yeah, you also see the flowers from Jumpsuit and Trench and on one of the desks. And if you look, you'll see different stuff from different videos and different eras just kind of hanging around and being part of the background. There's at one point where Tyler is sitting on the floorboard of a room outside of a closet, and you can see all the robes from Trench, which is kind of neat. It has the line of reoccurring, days blurring, I'm still learning what this is, just keep me company. And because of how isolating it can feel when you're trapped in your own head and struggling to find rest, it can be nice just to know you're not alone in the process. I also think this is just one of the low-key bops of the album. It's subtle, not overly aggressive, but it's still something you can bob your head to, which is appreciated. And I catch myself singing it a pretty fair amount. Like many of the videos, Tyler has the blurry face era black hand paint and neck paint with a Clancy scarf. And the video ends with a hand waking up Tyler. You know, again, into the mystery. And that brings us to Vignette, which is, I would say, my second favorite song. It could be my third. I don't know. I think it's the second. This is a simple video shoot of Josh playing drums in the dark and Tyler dancing around in snow, which there's a reveal at the end of the video what it is, but I feel like the lyrics of this are the real star of this song. And it's, again, one that I really connect with in terms of the depth of the lyrics. The flow of the vibes in terms of the presentation has very vessel holding on to you level rhythms. One of the first lines that really hits me is testing what is real, what is good. It's been a long night. Just scripturally, that hits me with the verse that tells us that we're required to test everything and hold fast to what is good. So that's where that one hits me. But it's a tribute to zombies of which I would come. Where do I go from here? Where do I go from here? Clinging to the promises, fighting off the vignette, Tunnels, cave, visions fade, swallowed by the vignette. And if you're not familiar with Vignette, maybe you only know that it's a filter on Instagram. Vignette is when everything closes in around you. It's when the darkness comes around the edges. It's when the picture has a visual that's closing in and kind of covering all the edges of it. It reminds me of like in a first person shooter style video game when you've been shot a few times, like there's a vignette of blood or darkness that surrounds your screen showing that your life is suffocating. And when it's talking about the vignette, I really do think it's just the fact of the older you get, life can kind of be suffocating, and it feels like there's a vignette of darkness, a vignette of pressure that just starts to kind of suffocate everything. So when he's saying clinging to the promises, fighting off the vignette, tunnels, cave, visions fade, swallowed by the vignette. As the next lyrics go, he's thinking, there's no way I'm headed there, always sure-footed, educated, and was never scared. Now he can't hold out his hand without it shaking, hounded by a bunch of dead when the search party found him. And, you know, it's one of those things, you don't ever want to think you're the person that's struggling. You don't ever want to think that you're the person that's really in need of help. But usually it is us. And it's even why the post-chorus says, no, not me. No, not me. It's for a friend. Oh, no, not me. It's for a friend. Because we don't want to be the one who's actually struggling. We want it to be for other people. And I think the vibe of that, of being in a place where you're struggling with it, feels like everything is kind of closing in around you, is something that I think resonates really easily. And the video gives us Tyler holding a red piece of paper, dancing around in the snow. And while it is fun, and it makes a really good visual, the fact that they're in the dark, being lit up solely by a spotlight. I just really enjoyed it. When it's in the no, not me, it's for a friend denial portion, I really enjoyed the tonal aspect of that, and that it does kind of perpetuate kind of almost a hopeless vibe. But if you're watching the video of Tyler just dancing around like an idiot in the snow, it's hard to hold just solely to the visual, the audio impact of the lyrics. But I like the fact that it's the mix of all of those things together for them. It makes a difference. And then, of course, if you finish the video, you see that all of the dramatic posturing and posing was Tyler making a giant face of Josh in the snow, which is ridiculous. And not that it ruins the concept of the song, but it's just one of those things of like, you know, poking fun at the depth of your own stuff. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on the Craving. It's not a bad song. I don't have any beef with the song. There are two versions of the song, the single version and the Jenna's version, which is the one that's on the album. They're both fine. The Jenna's version is obviously slower and sweeter. It's a love song. It's a love song to Tyler's wife, and I connect less with it. I enjoyed the video for the single version more, as it's, you know, Tyler creating this crafty bullet and Josh making a box, and it seems like another absurd little story. I feel like it's weird for them to spend so much time making that video for the version that's not actually on the album, but I still think it's a good, it's still a good song, and I enjoy listening to it. I don't have any beef with it. I just have less to say about it. The process is fun. I thought the video was really creative, and I think it was worth it for me the first time my kids actually watched the Lavish single version video and got to the end. They're like, what the actual crap was that? So, you know, that is fun. That was fun to see just their overall response to it. So, yep, that's it. That's my whole thoughts for the Craving. Gonna pass right on over to Lavish. And this song exists better in video format than it does just in audio. because they made such an interesting visual video to it that the song almost feels a little lacking just in pure audio format. But the video literally just has them traveling around in a limo in suits, matching up to the lyrics, words on signage throughout the city, which is just creative and funny. I think the thing I saw that tracks with me most, that just feels most organic, is that someone said, this is something Phineas and Ferb would have done as adults. And I think that's fun. Now, if I just listen to this song, it's okay. I might skip this song. I won't skip it if it's on shuffle, but like I might skip it. But I wouldn't skip this video. I would watch this video all day long. It's just them being funny and enjoying the vibe of it. One of my favorite things is when Tyler's like jumping off the sides of buildings and Josh is like, yeah, that's cool, man. Because I don't feel like that was staged. I was just like, they're just enjoying themselves. But one line I do like, if your feet are hurting, then you know you brought the right equipment to put on a show. It's like, you know, the hustle's real. I do like the fact they couldn't actually find a sign that said Lavish. They found close to it. Them sitting out the edges of the limo was fun. Makes me want to do that. I do like the throwback to the stressed out video of them sitting there drinking Capri Suns. And, you know, also of Tyler like napping on Josh. I mean, it was cute. The way he says Capri Sun also, I'm sure, is going to trigger some people. This song also reminds me of Heath McNease. If you're familiar, he's a rapper, musician, singer, artist extraordinaire. Like there's some lyrics in here that just straight up, and some delivery that sounds like Heath McNease wrote and did this song. Like the line about the proctologist sounds a very Heath McNease. And the Big Flex, Napoleon Complex. It's just a fun song. I don't think it's life-changing or, you know, something that's going to dramatically make my top 10 list of anything they do. But it is fun. Now, we are on to my favorite track of the album, and which is Navigating. And this one picks up in terms of storylines directly from the end of Overcompensate, where you see Clancy / Tyler and Josh show up on the shore, and they are met by banditos, and they start following them through the woods. One of my kids says this sounds like a Switchfoot song, and that doesn't hurt it, in my opinion. Vicious guitar, upbeat, great drums. Josh and Tyler are just in the woods playing by giant fire things, just haunting vocals with it. It's just the song I really connect with and vibe the most with out of the whole album, I think. But I keep changing my mind on this. Do genuinely love the line, when our fingers touch, I feel my way back home. Chef's kiss, 10 out of 10. Then we get to the chorus, and I think the chorus is maybe what echoes in my heart the most. Pardon my delay, I'm navigating. There are so many times where I feel like I'm buffering, that my bandwidth is low, that I'm not able to actually put out what people want from me, that I'm not who I want to be as a person, and I just feel like I'm navigating. I'm trying to figure out how to get to the place of being who I'm supposed to be at the level that I'm supposed to be, and I feel like I just could put this out. Like when someone asks, you know, for a response, I might just hit them, pardon my delay, I'm navigating. That's where I'm at. But yeah, that's super real. Again, just the whole presentation of this song is fierce in instrumentation and vocals. Continual videos of the banditos and Tyler going through. Then they start to add an image of someone with some trench flare carrying a mask through the woods in the opposite direction of the banditos. Also, as the video progresses, you see some of the same flowers from the trench era in the ground. Don't know how long it's been since I responded to your questions. I mean, I feel that because there's so many times I feel like there's people waiting on things from me I'm just not there at. He says, if you really want to know what I'm thinking, I kind of feel like everybody leaves. The reality that everybody leaves. And that hits me, and that's one of those couple lyrics that just replay in my head. And I just struggle with that because that just feels so real that the people that we think are permanent in our lives aren't. That everything is seasonal. That the people that were standing beside me 10 years ago aren't beside me now. The people that I thought were permanent aren't. The people that I think are permanent now probably won't be around in 10 years either. And it's a real struggle when you're dealing with things like that. And that thought is really persistent and it's big. Really want to know what I'm thinking. Kind of feels like everybody leaves. Feeling the reality that everybody leaves. It's just... And he says, now I'm trying to hold on to you because everybody leaves. And pardon my delay, I'm navigating. I'm trying to hold on to you because everybody leaves. I feel like there's some relationships and situations and circumstances in my life that I've jacked up because I held on really tightly because I am used to other people leaving so easily. And as the song is breaking down from its bridge, you see Tyler and Josh emerge from the woods, carrying the antlers in the, I guess, pre-Clancy gear. And then you see a lone bandito holding a mask on the other side of the field. It's the same field that Tyler and Josh are filming the actual music video in. And then you see Josh, as a bandito, pull the mask down. And then they give us the Shyamalan level Rickroll that we got in the My Blood video, that the guy that we watched the whole video of two people going through an experience. And the reality is it was just one person. And, you know, the idea of My Blood that you have to be the strong person for yourself sometimes. And so we get the idea that the Josh that was with Tyler the whole time wasn't really there. That he was just off being the bandito while Tyler's being Clancy. And so they meet up in the middle of the thing, and Tyler hands him the mask, or Josh hands Tyler the mask. And this is what I did for my 11-year-old daughter's birthday. Is I showed up dressed like dressed like Josh as a bandito with a torch, carrying a Clancy mask, and I gave it to her to let her know that we're going to see 21 Pilots in concert for her birthday. That was her birthday present. We were going to see them in September, but her present was that we were going to see them, and so I presented her that in the same fashion of this video. But where the video hits my soul so much is that right when Josh hands Tyler the mask, they start playing My Blood in the background. My Blood is one of my top 10, probably 21 Pilot songs, but it is definitely one of the songs that impacts me most emotionally. And then the camera pans up from the ground to an overhead shot, and you see that there are banditos closing in on Tyler and Josh's location. So it's just neat to see what they did with it. The fact that A, it furthers the storyline of the videos, but B, that it ties back to My Blood, just also with the fierce guitars, the fierce lyrics, the drum. This one is a banger for me for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and call it for here. And that takes us pretty deep that takes us 9 songs into the album, and there are 4 left. So we'll come back and revisit Snapback, Oldie Station, At the Risk of Feeling Dumb, and Paladin Straight. And I will say this, I really enjoy all 4 of these last songs. I'll save it for the podcast, but thanks for taking time to listen, and I hope you're enjoying the album.